Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the videos of the paid request this time for FreddyLit. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Arlington Road, the 1999 film directed by Mark Pellington, who would go on to direct the Mothman Prophecies, which I do quite like that film. And it stars Jeff Bridges, Tim Robbins, Joan Cusack, and of course, one of the this is around the time you have the Oklahoma City bombing, a lot of other stuff. So it's, do you trust your neighbors? Who could be a terrorist? Who cannot be a terrorist? The plot of the film is Jeff Bridges. He has a son and a new girlfriend. He's still reeling and dealing with the loss of his wife, who was an FBI agent, who died during this botched sting operation. So he has a bit of animosity towards the government. He's a professor of terrorism, I guess that's the best way to call his course. I didn't know they had these type of courses, but I guess they do. But okay, can someone tell me, do they really have these courses that just talk about terrorism? I don't know, I guess so. There's a course on everything, to be fair. And the first scene, which I do think is an effective scene, I will say that. It's an effective sequence where there's a kid on the road, and Jeff is like, hey, what's going on, kid? And he sees that some of his fingers have been blown off. And so Jeff Bridges is freaking out, and he tries to figure out what to do next. Takes him to the hospital, where apparently the kid is the son of Tim Robbins and Joan Cusack. Now, I knew that kid looked familiar. I want to get the name right. Mason Gamble. Yes, Dennis the Menace from the 1993 Dennis the Menace movie. That was the kid here. Just I'm like, is that who I think it is? I'm like, oh, it is. Okay. Damn. That's what you did, Dennis. Screwing Mr. Wilson one too many times, kid. You fucked with him too many times. You did your finger. That's what happened. Mr. Wilson blew his fingers off. See, this is a sequel to Dennis the Menace. People don't know that. Mr. Wilson. One too many times. Pissed off Walter Matthau one too many times. But he befriends Tim Robbins and Joan Cusack, and then he starts noticing things. He notices blueprints. He notices, okay, he got a piece of mail, but it's a piece of mail directed towards him, but it's not from the state that he said he was from, so he gets a bit more paranoid. He listens to microfilm, sees that when this, wait a minute, he changed his name. This was his other name. And when he was 16, he was a mailroom bomber. Tries to talk to his girlfriend. His girlfriend doesn't believe him. Tries to talk to a buddy at the FBI who knew his wife. He doesn't believe him. And then the movie goes on from there until the finale, which I know a lot of people like the film. I should have started with this. A lot of people like the film. A lot of people love the film. A lot of people, it gets a 7.2 on IMDb. If you love the film, be my guest. I don't mind the performances of Jeff Bridges. I know some people complain that he seems a bit too wide-eyed and a bit too... I'm fine with the performance because it's about a guy who still can't deal with the loss of his wife. And so he's going on these paranoid... not delusions, but paranoid tangents. So he gets a bit too emotional. And plus, I like Jeff Bridges as an actor. Whether it be The Big Lebowski, or Tron, or various other movies. And Tim Robbins. I do like him as an actor. Ever since I saw him in Jacob's Ladder, which is one of my favorite films. Shawshank Redemption, another one of my favorites. Joan Cusack, being very nice and sweet and comforting. Oh, another person I recognized, Jeff Bridges' kid, his son, is the son in Unbreakable. He's a Bruce Willis' son in Unbreakable. So I'm like, this kid looks familiar. I'm like, oh, he was in Unbreakable, which I love that movie. So I don't really have a problem with the acting in the film. It's the story, and it's like they wrote the ending first. Then they said, okay, it's such a great ending in their eyes. How do we work up to the ending? And I gotta spoil, because that's really the big twist is really what people remember about the film. If it didn't have that twist, no one would remember the film. I'm sorry, that's just how I view it. If you disagree, to each their own. Spoilers, you go all these ups and downs, and he's paranoid, and then his son's being taken, and will he listen to them, will he not? He sees his son in the van, he drives like a maniac, he gets to the building, the FBI building. Well, what are you doing? He realizes he's been tricked, he's been turned to a patsy, it's the wrong van. He has inadvertently driven the bomb in the car he was driving. He looks, there's a bomb, it blows up, it kills him. The FBI dies, blows up the building. He is now labeled as the lone bomber. People in his class, including some that were working with Tim Robbins, said, oh, he did this and that, and he was so crazy. And now Tim and Joan are going to go to another place, I guess, to have another patsy and bomb, and so forth. But the amount of BS that goes in for these bad guys playing to work is such a convoluted, ridiculous mess, in my opinion. It's like watching one of the Saw sequels. It is. It's like Jigsaw. He just knew perfectly onto a psychic level of what everybody would do and what everybody would think, what everybody would see and do and react. I just call BS on it. I do, and it takes me out of the movie. I know, well, man, it's not a documentary, it's escapism. Suspend your disbeliefs. I understand that. I do that a lot. But it's not like Die Hard, where you have a lot of other stuff, and action, and stunt work, and humor, and the characters that have, more with their personalities are given that, because that's what the story entails. Whether the dialogue between hero and villain and all the other stuff. Is that like a comedy, or is that like a special effects movie where there's other stuff, even on a superficial note, to look at and wonder and like or dislike? It's only about this plot and the suspense to get to your ending. That's all there is to it. And that plot is just so ridiculous. I'm like, I call bullshit on it. So many times I'm like, that's bull. That's BS. Even because I knew of the ending, I'm watching the film again with that in my mind. I'm sitting there going, so they moved in. They moved close to Jeff Bridges. Yes, he's a professor of terrorism. Yes, his wife passed away. It's one thing that maybe you have someone to go to the classroom and listen to him talk. It's another that you know him so well that, okay, he's going to do this, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do this. Like, you plan it so specifically that you know everything he's going to do. That's hard for me to buy. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to buy into that. Are we to assume they blew up their own kid's hand? And that, how were they sure that Jeff Bridges was going to find that kid at the beginning of the movie? They were so sure that there would be no other cars. Okay, there's a kid walking around with a bloody hand with a row of houses. What if one of them looked out the window, saw the kid, ran off, helped the kid? Well, so much for their plan. You blew up that kid's hand for nothing. What if there was one other car, to go by that road, someone walked out, gotta go to work, oh shit, I went to get the newspaper, I went to walk my dog to pick up his poop, whatever the hell, would have walked out, saw the kid, helped, and before Jeff Bridges even got there. What if that happened? So much for your plan. Sorry, I just blanked out. I mean, how would they know that everyone Jeff Bridges came in contact with was as stupid as his characters seemed to be? And that's the thing, is that they had to. Their plan worked because they dealt with the dumbest characters you will see in a while. That's why their plan worked. Even Jeff Bridges' character becomes one of the dumbest characters you will see in a while, doing so many dumb decisions. And the only reason this plan worked is everyone was so stupid and so fucking dumb. You're a professor, deal with terrorism. You don't think it's a bit strange that a guy who's supposed to be this big terrorist just happens to have his damn blueprint right here for you to see on your table? On the table as if it's a box of pizza? You're not thinking, it's a bit convenient. He just left this big blueprint right here for anyone to see. You think someone would be a bit more secretive other than just have the big blueprint here? That's funny. Why would he? If this guy was so smart, why would he have his blueprint right there for anyone to see? That'd be a good question. Never enters Jeff Bridges' mind. Or that he'd be such an emotional teacher at school. Maybe people saw it before, but that he would continue. To the point that he literally takes the class to where his wife died and gives his dissertation about how the FBI was awful. Like, okay, it's one thing that to give some, speeches in class. But are they really going to know that this guy's going to take to the limit, that he's going to take this class to the damn crime scene? That only after the fact benefits them labeling this guy a patsy. Again, I guess they found, hey, they were smart enough to find the dumbest guy. I guess that's the only logic I could say. They found the dumbest guy, and yeah, let the dumbest guy. Well, I mean, if he's so dumb, maybe he should be a professor. Although I'm thinking, for a professor this damn emotional, in real life he'd be fired in 10 minutes. If he's this damn emotional. And like, no one has any type of communication skills. Like Tim Robbins talks to Jeff Bridges, and Jeff goes, wait, he talked to you about his mom? He talked to you about his mom? Why don't you bother asking your kid, oh, hey, he said you... So, he said, you talked to him about your mom? Then the kid could go, no, I didn't. But just, it makes it seem as if the kid didn't really talk. See, I don't know. Did the kid really talk to Tim Robbins about his mom or not? We'll never really see if that was true or not. If it's not, it's best to ask the kid. And then the kid goes, that never happened. Then the kid doubts on, well, why did he say that? Like, why did this guy say, I talked to him about my mom? And there's really not much of a connection, not much of a relationship between him and his kid. I'm sure that's the point. But at least get some nice emotional moments between him, other than like one or two times talking to him during bedtime. That's it. Or the kid being mad that, I want to go to camp. But, I mean, also thank God that the bombers found a guy whose girlfriend was as stupid as he was. Like, the guy is a professor of terrorism. You would think he knows a little thing or two. Granted, he's emotional about the death of his wife, but he knows a thing or two about this. So maybe take what he says for at least a little bit of salt, at least a little bit of legitimacy, a little bit. And he's like, well, this guy, and then this girl literally says, so what? So what if it's two guys and they're the same age and they have the same name and they live in the same town? So what? I'm like, so what? Two guys with the same age in the same town and the same name, and the town is a small town, and you don't think that's a bit strange? If you don't think that's a bit strange, you're a moron. You're a putz. And like, she disbelieves him so much. I'm like, lady, why are you with him if you're this disbelieving of him when he's a damn professor of terrorism? I think he would know a little bit thing more than you, lady. Now, if there was a habit that they showcased that he had blamed one or two people and it was a false blame, he was wrong. You blame this guy and you were wrong. You blame this guy and you were wrong about that. If he had a history of this, that he falsely accused people, then when you start disbelieving him, boy who cried wolf, the Chicken Little, the sky is falling but it hasn't fallen, so when it starts falling, can't believe you because you said it was falling 5 times before and it didn't. But that's not the case here. That was not the case. So there's no reason, no good reason, I should say, that both her and the FBI guy just disbelieve him so harshly. Yeah, your wife died. That doesn't mean what he's saying is wrong. One does not mean the other. At least showcase that he had a history of falsely accusing stuff before you two are so disbelieving in such a moronic fucking state that it's just so aggravating to watch. And then I love that the FBI guy is like, oh yeah, I saw that evidence you gave me that he was a mailroom bomber. He was 16 years old, dude. He doesn't say dude, but you might as well. He was 16 years old, dude. He hasn't done anything since. So what's the big deal? Okay, if you were a mailroom bomber, you're on the list. Trust me. You're on the list if you get a parking violation. That's how the government works. If you get a parking violation, the government's watching you. Let alone if you're a mailroom bomber. Trust me, any FBI guy with any salt, any lick of common sense, are not going to shrug. So what, he was a mailroom bomber. He was 16. Duh, duh, duh. Give me a break. I know the government is stupid, but they're more paranoid than you. Let's be honest, the government is more paranoid than you. That's why they're watching you through phones and shit. So a mailroom bomber, they're definitely watching that guy tenfold, especially when he changed his name. Especially when later on, the girlfriend of Jeff Bridges, just conveniently enough, sees that Tim Robbins is doing a deal. It's like at a mall or like a parking lot or something. Oh, wow, how convenient. She just had to be at the right place at the right time, at the right moment to see Tim having this weird dealing. And then she followed, and someone thankfully noticed her with their psychic beams of energy, and they followed her to this payphone. And then, next thing you know, she's found dead with her car off the road. Now, you just say, well, they planned that. Why would they plan to kill the girlfriend? She had no suspicions of them beforehand. By that logic, they would kill the kid as well. But they had no suspicions beforehand. In fact, she was saying he was crazy, so it'd be the benefit to them to keep her alive. He was delusional, he was crazy. I believe, I'm not sure if they would, like, they would witness, like, her reactions to what Jeff would say. I believe. Maybe not, but... So there would be no reason for them to plan, okay, we're going to be in this parking lot, and she followed the girl. Okay, the girl's parked. Now let's do our dealing. Now make sure she sees us. Okay, did she follow or did she go on? What if she just went home to talk to Jeff Bridges? But she followed. And thank God she followed. Now, again, what if she just after that, got in a car and just went to Jeff Bridges. I don't know why she decided to call on a payphone. Just take your car and drive to Jeff Bridges. You don't have to call on a payphone. But she did. And why? Okay, the plan is, let's make her know we're doing something bad so we can tell her later. That makes zero sense. It's more like, okay, if it gives them more work, because after his girlfriend dies, then Jeff Bridges is not paranoid anymore, which the bad guys want him paranoid, because they want him at the end driving the bomb into the thing. So it would work against them. Just then they have to work up of him being paranoid again by taking his son. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe, like, okay, we need... If that's the case, then just kill her anytime. Don't... See, that's why I'm getting so confused by this. Either they were so stupid and they were so convenient that she just happened to be at the right place at the right time at the right moment to see them and follow them. And lo and behold, thankfully someone noticed, or they planned everything. But it's like, well, why even go with the whole let her see us where we have this meeting? Why not just kill her without the whole thing? Just come up behind her and drug her and ride in the parking lot. Grab her, drug her, put in the car, go off the road. There you go. Don't have to go through all the other extenuating circumstances. None of that made sense. So then, the reason, like, Jeff apologizes to them after the death, you would think that would make him more paranoid. I was looking into these people. Just think of the timing of that. I think these people are bombers. Then right at the same time, the woman you love dies in this car crash? That would make me more paranoid, not less paranoid. But it makes him less paranoid for some reason. Explain that to me. How does... You're paranoid that your neighbors are bombers, but someone you love just died now in a car crash. Again, wouldn't you be more paranoid that this didn't happen, 2 months, 3 months before? Like, wouldn't you be paranoid because of the timing of that? Not less paranoid, but he's less paranoid. Then he's more paranoid because thankfully he called his buddy, and his buddy said, I left you a message. I never got messages. And then he looks outside, and there's a guy staring at him. The phone guy staring at him like this. How did they know that he would call his buddy, who would then tell him that his phone got messed with? And then he looks out, and there's a weird guy looking at him on the phone thing. And why was the guy working on the phone thing anyway? They already deleted the messages. What else were they working with the phone thing? You already went in and deleted his messages and screwed it over. So what was the guy on the phone working more so on? What? I don't fucking know. So then they take his son and they say, leave us alone. Just do your business. Teach your classes. Okay, what if he listened? What if he did exactly what they said? Then what? Then what would their plan be? Because the human psyche is a very fragile thing. It's a very fragile thing. Now, if his son didn't come back in 2 weeks, he would have to send a missing persons report. He would have to. And then the FBI would be like, well, this guy was looking into these neighbors, and this guy told me that, like, it would screw up the bad guy's plan. But no, they told me to listen. They told me, it's not like, okay, you do this or your son dies. You drive this car. You do this thing. Drive this car and get to your buddies at the FBI. We have demands. Why don't they do that? Just say, listen, we have demands. We want you to drive this car into there because we want to give you these documents. We're using this car. Just want to make sure you don't try to screw us over. He drives the car in. Oh shit, there's a bomb. Kablooey, goodbye. Seems like there's other ways they could have done this, and here they just make it the most convoluted way. They take his son, they tell him, don't do anything. Don't do anything. But then lo and behold, his friend calls and says, there was a phone call at a payphone. He goes to the payphone. Right when he gets to the payphone, he sees a delivery truck. Now, it's just a delivery truck driving. But dozens of trucks drive by. For some reason, he happens to look at that one truck and just knows there's something up with that truck. Now, maybe there's something I missed. Maybe they mentioned the name of the delivery, but I don't remember that. Or something about the truck he noticed, but I didn't notice anything. It's just that he looked at a truck. He just knew to follow it. And knew to stay there and look. And knew to follow it some more in order to see his son. And his son didn't see him, but thankfully he saw the son. But the son didn't see him. Then he drives. Just the car crashed. Thankfully, Jeff Bridges didn't take a gun. You think for the guy this paranoid, he would have a gun. Think about it. If you're so paranoid, you think there are bombers next to your house. You think they were murdered they murdered your girlfriend. When you have a gun or any kind of thing, which would have helped a lot of things at the end, because his car just crashed, he just dragged out of the car and is beaten up but then Jeff beats him up. What if he killed Tim Robbins? What if he knocked him out? What if he did a number of things? Tied him up. Did anything. Killed him. Broke his neck. But thankfully, Jeff beat him up, but not enough to be unconscious. And thankfully, with enough time to, I guess, for them to go in and sneak the bomb into his trunk. And then thankfully, he sees the delivery truck, and thankfully, there are no cops around. There's no bystanders. Thankfully, as a professor, he took driving from stunt school. Must have learned from Mad Max. Because thankfully, he almost gets demolished by a damn bus. What if that bus fucked up the car and he couldn't drive it anymore? What if any number of cars screwed him up? What if a cop came and stopped him, shot the tires, whatever? He couldn't drive anymore. Then what happened? Well, the bomb's there. Tough titty. Just blow up this car. Well, so much for their plan. Hell, he is calling and saying, there's a bomb in the van. They want the FBI this time. And the FBI guy hears this. You know what you do? Shut all the gates. That's it. Even if it's a crank call, that's what they fucking do. Why do you think when you're on the phone, you're not supposed to say anything about bomb, like terroristic acts? If you even joke about killing the president or anything, they could get your ass for just by joking about it, like on the phone and stuff. Especially if you call them. You shut everything down. You shut the gates. That's it. Hell, the guards, if there's a speeding car going towards the FBI building, they're going to shoot the damn car. But they don't. Because thank God, not only did they get a professor of terrorism, but thankfully a guy who was also good friends with a guy in the FBI who then could go, no, 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 it's okay, don't shoot him, it's okay, don't shoot him, it's okay, don't shoot him. So, God, these bombers are the most lucky people. They found a guy who could do all these things to the point of almost mind control and knew a buddy in the FBI who could say, who's so stupid he doesn't shut the gates, he doesn't stop everything, told the guards not to shoot. Hell, what if Jeff Bridges just left the car there? Taught them, just get over the van. Please, 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 get over the van. Please. What if he did that? What if he got out of the car? Please, please, just, no, wait, just get over, please, point over. Just please come with me. What if they did that? What if he did that? Then their car was left outside, then what? I don't think. I mean, it's a big bomb. I don't. It was far enough away that I don't think it would hurt the building too much. They would talk to Jeff, who's a professor of terrorism, and the FBI. Well, yeah, this guy's been telling me his neighbors are bombers, and then there's a bomb. Obviously, he's not the bomber, because why wouldn't he just drive it in? He's looking for his son. So now they would believe him. They may be injured, they may be hurt, but now, oh, we gotta look into these two guys, or these two people, Tim and Joan, screw up their plan. Again, so many damn things could have gone wrong, should have gone wrong, would have gone wrong, and that's why their plan is so damn stupid, and it kills me that, listen, people like the film fine, but this one, like, some Oscar thing about the script in 96, something about that, I don't know what it was, some Academy Award thing, and then, like, a 7.2, like, people saying this is such an ingenious, smart movie. Teach their own. I don't know what movie you saw, because I didn't see the same movie. If you love it, like I said, teach their own. We all love different movies. That's what opinions are. We all have them, just like assholes. We all have them. But, hey, unless there's super glue shit like Breakfast Club. But that's what I mean, like, so many stupid things that make zero damn sense just to have a shock ending that people go, oh, I didn't see it coming. Okay, cool. I've seen, I mean, you throw a rock, you'll find a horror film with a downbeat ending. But just to be fair, a bigger budget, more mainstream film, not since the 70s had you seen, like The Parallax View and other movies, had you seen those kind of big movies that have a downbeat ending. Which, I mean, there are movies that have done that well. Seven, I thought, did that well. And that was before this. Seven. That did a downbeat ending. That was a big movie. I thought that did that well. In the 80s, John Carpenter's The Thing, another John Carpenter films. In the Mouth of Madness. How Doctor Strangelove back in the day. Again, it just, how, like anything, how it works into the story. See, what I would have preferred, and I know I'm alone in this, people say this is a bad idea. Oh well, it's my idea, my opinion. I would have preferred if this was a story about a guy, and I wrote this down because well, actually, screw it. You find out at the end that Jeff was wrong, and Tim and Joan were not bombers. He went into the FBI, and he thinks there's a bomb in the van. There's nothing there. He thinks there's something in the car. There's nothing there. In the midst of it, he's been wounded on the side or on the shoulder. His buddy's trying to stop it, but no, hey, this guy, we gotta get him. There's a protocol. He's a threat. His son, you gotta take out the stuff that Tim Robbins threatens him and the son, to be fair. You keep in that his girlfriend died, but it was just a guy who had frustrations with the government because what happened to his wife. And his son is safe. Tim and Joan are not terrorists. His girlfriend really did have an accident. It was bad timing. And it was just a showcase of the dangers of paranoia. The dangers of, and how did I word it? The dangers of paranoia and believing too much in conspiracies. I think that could be a worthwhile ending as well. It'd be much more low key. It probably wouldn't be as memorable, so it would not get the 7.2 IMDb. Some people say you're wrong. That'd be a bad way. Just for me, what would be more interesting to me would be he gets fired, maybe loses custody of his son, son goes to relatives, son shaking his head like, you know who I used to know. He loses his job, he's a shell of his former self. About how all these paranoid delusions and his conspiracy theories, he was not able to let go. So he got wounded, he got fired, all this stuff happened. He's labeled a crazy guy on the news. Maybe he was in jail for a bit, maybe just leniency because of his buddy, who knows. Maybe he's going to be in for a few months. And now it's him having to take a step back and finally heal his pain. And again, to show the danger of too much in the, because there is a danger of believing too much in conspiracy theories, being too paranoid. There is a danger in that. Now it could inflict others, it could also inflict yourself. So his soul has been polluted. Now it's time to cleanse that. I just think that'd be a lot more for Jeff Bridges to play. And also it would take a look at ourselves. If we're believing like Jeff Bridges is believing, that these are bad guys and these are terrorists, then we look at ourselves and go, well, wait a minute. Can we be too paranoid? Can we be too cynical? Can we hate the world a bit too much? And of course the script has to be constructed a bit in a different way. Maybe not from Aaron Kruger, which I don't think he's that great of a writer. I like Stream 3. I don't mind Reindeer Games. He worked on The Ring 2002, to be fair. But he also worked on Imposter, which almost had the same type of ending. He worked on Blood and Chocolate, and Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, Transformers, Age of Extinction, Dumbo. He's one of the multiple writers of Top Gun Maverick, which I don't mind. But Tim Burns' Dumbo, Transformers 2, 3, and 4, Blood and Chocolate. I don't mind Reindeer Games. I don't think it's a classic. He did uncredited rewrites for Dracula 2000 and Scream 4. So, there's a couple films he's worked on I don't mind. Others that I do mind. Especially those Transformers sequels. And yeah. I have a lot of issues with the film, obviously, since I've gone for so damn long. But that's just me. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. And we will see you guys down the road. Bye-bye.